you can count on us. This is 7 News Good Morning Fort Sill.
Well, thanks for joining us for another edition of Good Morning Fort Sill. I think we got some great stories today so far.
Yeah, both locally, nationally, internationally, just the works. But before we dive into those stories, let's get a check of the weather with the birthday boy, meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.
Happy birthday, Ulysses.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yes. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's only the second time I've actually worked on my birthday on TV. So,
what a present.
Yeah, that's more impressive.
Happy birthday.
But thanks,
we'll
guys.
Sing later.
But yeah, luckily the weather will be improving here. We're still actually waking up to a couple showers here. Nothing to the same extent that we had yesterday across the area, but definitely a couple showers off towards our eastern communities, over towards Duncan, southwest of Chickasha, just the east of Carnegie. And this is actually kind of associated with what eventually will be ahead of a warm front that's going to be rising through, climbing through the area throughout today. 72 degrees. That was a record cold high yesterday. The record was 75. We broke it yesterday. We had that rain late in the morning. That kind of was what kind of capitalized it and made it official. The fact that we had that rain later in the morning, the clouds really just stuck around. 66 degrees for that low temperature, but really the high temperature was really the big headline story for yesterday, along with the rain. We got over half an inch here in Lawton yesterday. We're still down for the month of August, almost at 2 inches total, and we're over by 11 inches for the year. Cloudy skies right now in our Comanche Nation Entertainment Tower came at Medicine Park Aquarium. And for Fort Sill, 69 degrees, cloudy skies. We could deal with some fog here in the morning. Temperatures in the upper 60s, but like I mentioned before, the weather gets better by this afternoon.
A man in Washington, D.C. is facing felony assault charges after allegedly spitting on 2 National Guard soldiers.
Court documents say Scott Pitchen approached a couple of South Carolina National Guard soldiers last week and spit on them, hitting them in the face and neck. Pitchen was arrested earlier this week.
Now, this incident comes after President Trump mobilized National Guard troops from several states to crack down on crime in our nation's capital. And President Trump signed a new proclamation this week honoring the U.S. service members who were killed in Afghanistan during a suicide bombing. 13 Americans, as well as over 100 Afghans, were killed during a 2021 bombing near Abbey Gate at the Kabul airport.
While expressing sympathy to the Gold Star families, both Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth accused the Biden administration of not acknowledging the family's sacrifices.
We remember these great 13 souls, but we also remember the people that were so badly injured, our soldiers, 32 of them approximately.
America deserves answers as far as what happened in Afghanistan. The military needs to answer for what happened in Afghanistan. So upon the president's direction, immediately we initiated an investigation.
Between October of 2001 and August of 2021, nearly 2,500 troops were killed in the war in Afghanistan. Well, Israeli Defense Forces stormed a West Bank currency exchange yesterday. Leaders say the building was targeted because they were allegedly financing Hamas.
Palestinian media claims that nearly 60 people were treated for injuries ranging from gunshot wounds, rubber bullets, shrapnel, and tear gas. The move comes as Israel continues to ramp up for a full-scale invasion of Palestine. Well, turning to your local military news, the FISTA broke ground on their anechoic chamber last week, which will be located on the south side of the Central Plaza in downtown Lawton.
An anechoic chamber is a special room that absorbs sound and electromagnetic waves. They're used by companies and other organizations for product testing and research. Krista Ratliff, the president and CEO of the FISTA, is excited to see the project take shape.
It's going to give a new educational opportunity for students in our area to have hands-on experience inside of an anechoic chamber, which is something that Southwest Oklahoma has never experienced before. And it's got a defense approach where our defense partners can come and use our anechoic chamber for testing, for R&D. It is roughly a $10 million project. The building itself will be up by January 1st, and then the anechoic chamber installation begins shortly after that.
We will continue to track the progress of the construction of FISTA's anechoic chamber and provide updates as it nears completion. Loadmasters with the 58th Airlift Squadron at Altus Air Force Base recently teamed up with soldiers from 3-2 Air Defense Artillery Battalion here at Fort Sill to conduct joint training operations.
Leaders from both installations say the hands-on experience gives soldiers valuable insight into the role and expectations Loadmasters and the Air Force face, as well as building joint force connection. Always good to see our local military installations working together.
That was a lot of fun there.
Well, Fort Sill Army Community Service is hosting a Spouses Resiliency event tomorrow where you get to paint your own mug.
So the event runs from 2 till 3 in the afternoon at a Pigment of Your Imagination in Lawton. It is free, but registration is required. You can contact ACS at the phone or email on your screen to get registered.
And education claims processors from the Department of Veterans Affairs, as well as representatives from Fort Sill, will be stopping by Cameron University 1 week from today.
So definitely like to see events like this. Veterans, active duty service members, and their dependents who have questions regarding VA benefits can get assistance from representatives. The event will be from 8 o'clock next Wednesday morning until 3 in the afternoon in room 301 of North Shepler Hall.
The Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs is hosting a free business conference next week. It'll be held next Tuesday through Thursday at the Metro Tech Spring Lake campus up in Oklahoma City. Now, this event is free to attend, and it is open to all military-connected entrepreneurs, including veterans, active duty, Guard, Reserve, and their families.
The 3-day conference features workshops and training on business development, networking opportunities with fellow veteran business owners and community partners, as well as vendors and much more. Those who are interested in attending can register at the website on your screen.
Well, after a weeks-long inspection, a controversial service pistol has been cleared for military use. We'll have the latest military announcements coming up next on Good Morning Fort Sill.
Every first, every morning, we're here.
This just in, the town of Velma is being evacuated.
Stay connected to the team you trust your way. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app.
Mark, what are you seeing?
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV here or watch anytime on your schedule. Download all 3 for free. Stay connected to 7 News wherever you are. Here's your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.
Welcome back, everyone. We're tracking some rain, mainly over our eastern communities here, east of Carnegie, making its way towards Chickasha. We're also dealing with some showers just north of the Duncan area, making its way towards Bray. And most of this very light in general, but a lot of this will be more so a factor, say, over the next few hours. And then as we get deeper into the morning, we'll actually start seeing drier conditions. Now, we do have a flood advisory in effect for parts of over into parts of Caddo and Grady counties. And this is until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is more just associated with just some rivers that are just have the potential to just, build up a little bit from all the rain that we had yesterday across the region and over parts of Oklahoma. So looking at what's happening right now on our Chickasha Chamber of Commerce tower cam, definitely much calmer than we were 24 hours ago. We were dealing with rain here. There is some rain off towards the west, but at least for now, a little bit of a break in the activity. Temperature is currently though in the 60s, 69 degrees in Wichita Falls, 65 in Elk City, 68 in Frederick, 69 Monday, 70 in Graham. There's that stationary front. It will gradually start pushing back towards the north as a warm front, and then eventually we will deal it going back as a cold front as we make our way into your Thursday. So as we go throughout this morning, we'll start off with clouds and even some fog. This afternoon, we'll actually see some sunshine finally break through. Quiet night ahead. And then as we make our way into tomorrow, we'll start off with sunshine. And then as we progress into your Thursday, we'll start seeing the influence of some of those showers and storms late into the day. And then we even do have the chance for some spotty activity as we make our way through parts of the holiday weekend. For tomorrow, there is that small chance for an isolated strong to severe storm from Duncan and Chickasha and points east.
The Air Force has cleared the M18 pistol for use.
So the use of the 6-hour made sidearm was paused for more than a month while a thorough inspection was conducted following the shooting death of an airman at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming. In a statement, General Thomas Boussier, the commander of the Air Force's Global Strike Command, determined that the majority of the nearly 8,000 of the service's M18s were found to be safe to return to duty following a weeks-long investigation.
Yeah, those inspections did find issues with close to 200 of the pistols related to wear and tear mostly. 6-hour is currently facing multiple lawsuits over unintentional discharge claims. Other military branches have continued to use the M18 pistol even as the Air Force conducted its review. Well, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the Department of Defense have established a new medal to recognize service members deployed to the Mexican border.
So the Mexican Border Defense Medal will be awarded to service members deployed to the U.S. international border with Mexico for Department of Defense support to U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
To receive the new award, service members must have been permanently assigned, attached, or detailed to a unit that deployed to participate in a designated DoD military operation supporting Customs and Border Protection within the area of eligibility for 30 consecutive or non-consecutive days. Well, this day in military history, on August 27th, 1908, Lyndon Baines Johnson was born in Stonewall, Texas.
Johnson served as the 36th President of the United States, taking office in November of 1963 following the assassination of John F. Kennedy. During his 5+ years in the White House, he signed key pieces of legislation, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965.
Prior to taking the oath of office, Johnson was appointed to the House Committee on Naval Affairs in the early 40s and served as a lieutenant commander in the U.S. Naval Reserve. Johnson passed away in 1973 at the age of 64, just 4 years after leaving the White House.
Well, members of the Coast Guard were able to secure one of the largest drug busts of all time. Coming up, find out how much cocaine they were able to confiscate.
Every first, every morning, we're here.
This just in, the town of Velma is being evacuated.
Stay connected to the team you trust your way. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app.
Mark, what are you seeing?
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV here or watch anytime on your schedule. Download all 3 for free. Stay connected to 7 News wherever you are.
Taking a look at national military headlines, a national defense area has been created in Yuma County in Arizona as part of the efforts to secure the southern border.
As Alexandra Rangel reports, troops and border control agents are advising people to stay away from the area or face serious consequences.
The National Defense Area sits in a remote stretch of the desert that takes hours to reach by vehicle. It's roughly 32 miles, and Yuma Border Patrol says new signs have been placed along the area marking the restricted boundary. The military has posted warning signs marking the restricted military zone along the Arizona border. It's adjacent to the Cabeza Prieta National Wildlife Refuge and the Barry M. Goldwater Range. Michael Wisniewski with Yuma Border Patrol says they've put up at least 300 signs so far.
They continually are working and putting up signs to inform people that this is a national defense area and entry is not authorized.
The National Defense Area allows soldiers to detain people who cross the border illegally, but anyone trespassing in the restricted area can be arrested and charged, including hikers, campers, and off-roaders near Cabeza Prieta who may venture too close to the zone.
If they do encounter anybody, they will temporarily detain them and then contact us, the Border Patrol, and turn them over to us.
Yuma County's National Defense Area is the 4th border military zone created by the Trump administration, following similar sites in Texas and New Mexico. Although arrests have been made in those areas, some judges have dismissed the charges, finding that the signs did not adequately warn the public. Despite the controversy surrounding the zones, Wisniewski says that additional support from the Department of Defense has helped strengthen border security.
It does allow Border Patrol to be able to devote to other missions such as Operation at Large, which is a ICE operation throughout the United States.
Yuma Border Patrol says no arrests have been made in the National Defense Area since it was established about 4 weeks ago.
Well, the U.S. Coast Guard unloaded the largest drug seizure in the agency's history earlier this week off the coast of Florida.
Yeah, crews were able to seize over 61,000 pounds of cocaine for a total offload street value of $473 million. Wow.
Yeah.
The drugs came from 19 different interceptions in the eastern Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea between June 26th and August 18th.
61,740 pounds of cocaine represent 23 million potentially lethal doses. That's enough to fatally overdose the entire population of the state of Florida. Think about that for a moment. Enough cocaine to kill everyone in Florida.
Yeah, certainly a meaningful bust for sure. Authorities said most of the narcotics were connected to cartels in Venezuela.
Well, SpaceX launched its most powerful rocket yet last night. The Starship mega rocket launch comes after 2 previous failed attempts.
The Starship produces as much thrust as 64 Boeing 747s combined, making it the most powerful rocket ever built. Tuesday night's test marks the 10th flight of the craft. The upper spacecraft was able to successfully detach and continue its mission.
And a global-class research ship owned by the U.S. Navy is helping students at Oregon State University learn more about life under the sea. The research vessel Atlantis monitors the axial seamount underwater volcano and replaces sensors and equipment that are part of the regional cabled array.
The ship is about 247 feet long and is able to capture high resolutions of things such as sea life, oceanic topography, and much more.
So this is the main workhorse for the U.S. For deep water, shallow to deep water robotic vehicle work. There's 4K cameras, there's sonar so you can look forward, a bunch of lights so they can look under the vehicle, they can look behind, they can look forward. Yeah, so it's a huge thing to get everything in place and wired. You can see cables everywhere.
So this is wild. Essentially, these systems are able to provide real-time data about the volcano and its potential for imminent eruption.
I tell you what, though, you know, they say that space the last frontier, obviously, but I tell you what, think about all the stuff that underwater that we have no idea about. They're always discovering something new.
Yeah, a little bit scary.
Yeah.
The 185th Air Refueling Wing in Iowa has been recognized by the Air Force as one of the best units in the service for their work on the aircraft that they maintain.
Well, however, though, that their planes themselves are in dire need of repairs, and the Iowa Air National Guard leaders say that the issue comes down to funding. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds says she's working with the state and federal leaders to get those repairs done as quickly as possible for one of the top military units in the country.
As far as the 185th, I am in constant communication with General Osborne, with Senator Ernst, and with Congressman Feenstra and our entire delegation. It is a priority for each and every one of us. And so I will continue to work with them and continue to look at what that timeline looks like for the funding.
Well, one of the nation's largest Air Force trade shows is taking place in Montgomery, Alabama this week.
It's the Department of the Air Force Information Technology and Cyber Power Training and Education Conference. The 3-day event brings Air Force officials together with leaders in private industry to look at the cyber threats facing the nation and how to fight back.
Gunner and Maxwell are here. The AETC and Gunner is the Center for Computer for the Air Force. So this is huge for the Air Force, and we probably have 5,000 people here, half military, half contractor, half government personnel that are not military. This is huge. This is it for the Air Force.
Attendees are hearing from a number of leaders from the public and private sectors, learning about the newest and most prevailing threats to our global networks and national defense. The conference wraps up today.
Let's take a look at our good news. A family in Iowa received a special plaque to commemorate the loss of their father, a former service member.
Preston and Quentin Zubek lost their father, Major Richard Zubek, in 2019 after years of service between the Army and the Navy. The Till Valhalla Project is a nonprofit that wanted to gift the family a plaque as a way to remember their father.
Richard passed away when the boys were 1 and 3 years old, but his legacy lives on through them.
We're unable to take away the pain of your loss. However, we hope that what we do for you today demonstrates that our nation and those within it will never forget Navyman and Major Zubek's selfless service to others. His legacy will live on in all the lives he touched, the compassion he showed, and the example he set.
So, Kyle, I actually follow this nonprofit. The Till Valhalla Project honors fallen heroes by delivering surprise memorial plaques to families, raising awareness about veteran suicide, and promoting mental health and resilience.
Preston and Quentin's mom hopes the boys remember the love and service their father gave. Well, a veteran who lost the use of both of his legs after a horrific crash is now smashing records as a professional para-athlete.
Army veteran Brian Conwell was a soldier and an officer for nearly a decade. In 2014, while trying to pick up food for his troops, his vehicle hit black ice and skidded off the road down a 150-foot ravine. The impact crushed both of his legs. Conwell's left leg had to be amputated above the knee, and his right leg had to be salvaged with screws and rods.
He sat at home recovering, falling into depression, eventually attempting suicide, but he was able to pull out of it and learned how to walk again and found a new purpose in life as a para-athlete.
Some of them have made the comment, dude, I never thought I'd see you on this aspect of life. Like, you're a pro athlete now, man. You're out there kicking butt with the rest of them.
Conwell has won 16 medals in adaptive sports. He competed a few weeks ago at the Track and Field Nationals in Oregon, placing third in the U.S. in seated disc throw. He says his main goal now is making Team USA for the 2028 Paralympics in L.A.
With meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Right now in our Comanche Red River Hotel Casino Tower Cam in Duval, really not much happening here. You've seen that most of those showers have been on our very easternmost communities, Duncan towards Chickasha. Those areas can see a few showers here in the morning commute, but most areas will be relatively dry. But you can still see a deck of clouds pretty much or most of our viewing area. This is a stationary front that was previously the cold front that we had back Sunday night. It will start eventually start making a push towards the north here as we go through the next 24 hours. So we'll start off with clouds, maybe even a little bit of fog this morning. Then as we make our way towards this afternoon, we'll break out into some sunshine across the region. Relatively quiet night ahead. As we make our way into tomorrow, we'll start off with sunshine, but then that front will eventually turn as a cold front, and then it could still bring a couple isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area as we progress into your late Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. There is a level 1 marginal risk for a strong to severe storm, Chickasha towards Duncan. Concerns there with wind and hail. Fast forwarding towards Saturday, though, there is the chance for a little bit of flash flooding, especially off towards the west where there's slight risk. Vernon, Altus, and points west towards Childress. Your morning PT forecast at Fort Sill. Temperatures into the upper 60s to right around 70. Like I mentioned before, cloudy, chance of fog, maybe a stray shower. As we progress throughout the day, we'll make our way up to 90 degrees. Isolated showers more so in the morning hours. Southeast to south wind at 5 to 10. And then as we look at the 7-day forecast here, we're going to see those temperatures warm up to 96 degrees. Then we'll drop down into the lower 80s for most of the holiday weekend. And then we'll see some lingering, a little more clouds to start off the holiday weekend on Friday and Saturday. More sunshine as we break through Sunday and eventually into Labor Day.
Whew, loving those 80s.
Yeah, I'll take it any day of the week.
Well, thanks for watching. Good morning, Fort Sill.